North Carolinians are being asked to vote for or against a constitutional amendment that strengthens the existing ban of same-sex marriage. All of you have opposed the amendment. You're on record of opposing it. Not knowing the outcome of this referendum, if elected governor, would you push to recognize gay marriage as a legal union here in North Carolina?
Well, that's a very interesting question. As you know, in North Carolina, we've had a law for more than 10 years that says that marriage is between a man and a woman. And not only that, but we have a law that says that we do not recognize same-gender marriages performed in other states. And of course, there's a constitutional amendment on it. Whether that constitutional amendment passes or doesn't won't change the law in North Carolina. Our law will be the same the day after that vote, regardless of how it comes out. And so I think that where I am on this is that I really think the legislature has spoken. I think the people in this state believe that on the whole, that marriage is between a man and a woman. I think there's a place for a civil union. I think it's something that we should look at, and I think it's something that should be discussed and debated at the legislature.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dalton, looking beyond the amendment now to your personal thoughts as governor on that issue.
And if I understand the question, it's actually beyond the statute, and you're talking about a new law that's talking about recognizing civil unions. I would support that law.
You would. Anything further?
Well, I can go back and tell you why Amendment 1 is very, very bad for North Carolina. Okay. And I tell you what is offensive, too, that this legislature spent so much time on a divisive issue like that. It doesn't need to be on the ballot right now. We need to be talking about jobs. And actually, if it should pass, it'll end up in the courts, and we'll be spending our tax dollars fighting a case that another state is already fighting, and that money needs to be going for jobs. So I really find that, it's offensive that we're dealing with that issue at all, but particularly right now. It's going to hurt on insurance plans. It's going to hurt on domestic violence laws. It's going to confuse those. So that is a bad thing. But I think when you look at the issue of civil unions, which are contractual rights, yes, I support that.
Yeah, but a fair question with all the hype and the heated debate of both sides here and rallies. So beyond the amendment, Mr. Etheridge, how do you feel about legalizing gay marriage or recognizing civil unions here?
Kim, I've been married to the same woman for 46 years, and fortunately we're happily married. We've all talked about it. We really ought to be talking about jobs, education, jobs, and the economy, and that's not what's happening. If someone said to me the other day, I'm not really worried about where people are. I just want to get this economy going. I want to get education done for my children. If the General Assembly wants to move and take that action, fine with me. I'd support it. But what we really ought to be boring down on is how do we invest in the next generation? These issues are nothing more than distractions. They're meant to do that. They're meant to keep us from paying attention to dealing with North Carolina's future. That's what I want to talk about, and I think that's what we have to deal with over the next few months. And I think the people of this state are going to speak very loudly, not only in May, but they're going to speak in November.